Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and hard-working crew taking care of our comfort needs. And it is going to be comfortable today. Listen, high 77, low 68. That sounds like springtime, but don't get too excited. It's not officially springtime until March the 20th. That's the first day of spring. We'll talk about it. But if you look around, it's springtime all around with the blooming and all, and all the good things going on, everything bursting out. But here's the most important part of the weather today, is the water temperature at the end of the pier. I will get an apology. If you remember yesterday's show, I looked down twice at the water temperature at the end of the pier. She had 70.1. I said, well, I think this is wrong, because it's never, remember last time it was like 65 or 60, getting close to 66. And then boom, folks, it jumped up. And I said, well, that's a mistake. So when I got home yesterday, she said, no, that's what it was. On the end of the pier, the same reading we've done for 18 years. I said, well, that's just, I don't understand it. Well, this morning, the water temperature at the end of the pier is going up another degree, 71.1. It's never done that since I've been doing the show. So it went from 65 to 70 like in like 24 hours. It's incredible for that to happen. So if you're not in that kind of water temperature thing, you won't understand it. But that's a huge motion right there. 68 is a big number we always look for. 68 degrees, Spanish start coming. Well, now it's already 70. All right, river readings. Take a look at Apalachicola Bluntstown. This reading of 9.2 this morning, good and steady. And at Choctaw at Caravelle, this reading of 5.8, a good steady reading over there. So looking good. We do have a cooling period coming off this weekend, but it's really nice today. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides. Low this morning at 404 and high at 511, and the wind's going to be blowing out of the south-southwest at 14. Let's take a break. We'll come right back with our guest. Okay, welcome back, and always welcome Daniel Cole, our boat expert and our avid outdoorsman.
Good morning.
Good to have you back, Daniel. And we're here talking about quail hunting. So first, we've got all kinds of things to cover. We've got a whole list of stuff to cover. But let's get our priorities. We're going to cover the quail.
This is an outdoor show.
It is an outdoor show. So we're talking about quail hunting. You love to quail hunt with dogs, and I went a week before last, and you went last week. Mm-hmm. So let's take a look at. We've got a couple of pictures of the last quail hunt. So that's some good-looking dogs there. Tell us about them.
These are from friends of mine. They have them. German short hairs. They're young dogs, but they're very, very accomplished already, and you can tell they just ran themselves out. I think that the one laying on the ground there, according to her GPS collar, ran something like 24 miles that day.
No way.
Zigzagging back and forth.
That term, dog tired, that's where it comes from. They just
dog tired.
They go until they just can't go and just lay down and get some water. Okay, and y'all got a good mess.
Yeah, this is from 2 weekends ago. 37 birds.
37, very good.
And we had a good time. Well, I tell you something interesting about that trip I had not seen before. When the birds were released, one of them flew way off from the rest, and we would have never got him because he was going to make it to the woods to cover. Mm-hmm. When we pulled up, this big red-tailed hawk come up and sat in a tree, and as soon as we started releasing them, when that one got away from us and went over there, he went and grabbed that quail just like that.
No kidding.
And carried it off. Yep. So now, I've never seen one do that.
You got to witness that. That's rare.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to see it.
The guys that have been going regularly to this area and doing that, they said that they've been doing it so much that the hawks were getting used to what they were doing, and they would see them show up.
Isn't that something?
So it shows you how wildlife.
Isn't that something? And
they'll show up uninvited to your hunt.
and that's the reason we're talking about when we lost our wild quail population. And then we started introducing these, the farm-raised quail, but they do not have the defense mechanism to run and hide like the wild quail.
Right.
And that's the reason. But the ones that do survive and learn how to get through there's a small group of them doing that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. As soon as they get out on the ground, they start calling each other and start grouping up. So
yeah.
If they can locate other wild quail, they'll teach them how to do that. But they've got to catch up with them.
Well, I love it. Okay, so now getting back to your job, what you got to do for a living. You were telling me about some different things and all y'all do.
Well, there's one thing we've always been a big advocate of is continued education, because you can get a marine surveyor's qualification, and the job itself will teach you a lot. You work around a lot of great people, a lot of boat captains, a lot of boat mechanics, a lot of boat repair places like Miller Marine, where you work with people who are qualified and you learn more about the job as you go. But it's always been big to us to keep up our own continuing education on top of that. It's not required, but it just really helps us in the performance of our job. Some of the things I thought I would mention today is like being a part of NAMS. Now, NAMS is the oldest and most prestigious marine survey organization in the world. It's global. And something that's just happened with that, as I explained to you earlier, is I have just been appointed as the head quality and certifications chairperson for the whole organization of NAMS.
Wow, worldwide.
Worldwide.
Wow.
So everybody coming into the organization, we have regional vice presidents, regional areas that they will be screened, but everything that goes has any, whether if they don't have somebody qualified to actually do the screening or whatever, then it will come to me. And that's for the whole organization. So that was really a big.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was really a big promotion, and
Yeah.
it's not a paid position, so it's voluntary, but it helps us ensure that the quality of what we have coming into that organization is
That's
tops.
great. And we're talking about having expert people here on Panhandle Outdoors, and how about that?
Another one that we've done is this one, which is this is actually has to do with USPAP. It's the Appraisal Foundation. It's a property appraisers organization, but we have to keep up continuing education with it because that method is the most used method for valuing boats, doing appraisals, and comparing them to get a value.
Cool.
And then last, this is our newest one we just got, ABYC standards, marine standards. This has to do with the rules and regulations that are required as far as what boats have to follow, what boat builders have to follow, what's required. I actually have two of these. I have another one that we just did the end of last year that was actually marine systems, and that covers how everything is installed. Basically, it's essentially like you have a building code for houses.
Right.
It's the building code for boats.
Yeah.
And so we've been certified in that as well, and that's something that you have to recertify in with studying an exam every 5 years.
Okay.
So keeping that up, it is time consuming and it is a lot on top of what the job entails, but it ensures that we can bring the very best up-to-date quality inspection services to our clients and stay on top of things. And the marine industry is something that's always changing because the technology is always changing, it's always morphing and becoming more advanced, and if you don't keep up with it and keep up with all the other training that goes with it, you know, codes will change, rules will change, and you could be trying to enforce some things that are outdated or whatever. So it's really important us to keep up with that.
Congratulations, Daniel. We're very proud of you and proud that you do put your standards up here and you stay up there. So that's awesome. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. See, we're Daniel Cole. We're going from boating, and let's go to a quick segment on hunting. Bill Roxby is so good about sending us videos over there in South Walton County. He sent this yesterday. He says the bucks are still like in like a rutting over there. So let me see if I can see this. I had it set up right before the break, and then it went off. But let me see. All right, here we go. This is over here. Here we go. This is buck, backyard buck. You've seen it. Okay, I'll pick up the buck there. There's a doe to the left. All right, see the doe? And this is in his backyard. He's got some food for him. And he starts getting a little bit closer to the doe. All right, you see this? Okay, what does she do? She pays hard to get. And but ain't that a nice buck? I'm so glad that buck made it through hunting season. So he'll be able to go another year and maybe get some young bucks behind him. So it goes on. The doe, Bill's got him trained. They got a meeting in the backyard. All right, got a feeder over there. And all of a sudden, she takes off, and look how close that buck is. That's probably how Daniel, how that buck just stayed in that area the whole hunt season, probably because he was safe. Don't you imagine?
Yep.
So, okay, so, all right, now, let's get back to our boating stuff. Thank you, Bill, good about sending that and for taking care of those big bucks for us. How about the, you're talking about, tell people what NAMS, we say NAMS, what does it stand for?
Well, you have the two, your two accreditation services, organizations for marine surveyors. You have NAMS, like I said, is the oldest and the most prestigious. It's National Association of Marine Surveyors. And then you also have an organization, SAMS, which is actually larger, but it's kind of a newer kid on the block, but it's the Society of Accredited Marine Surveyors. Now those are the two organizations that can certify a marine surveyor.
Okay.
And in doing that, it's important if you're going to have any type of survey to be sure that your surveyor is either certified by NAMS or accredited by SAMS.
Okay.
We have surveyors in our area who are not a part of either organization, and because of that, people have paid for surveys that were not accepted by the insurance company or the bank for financing. So be sure, it's a simple question, SAMS or NAMS. If they are not certified in one or the other, then we would just strongly recommend you get someone else who is.
Okay, during the break, I took a picture of these certificates. Here's one of them right here. The standards right here, Daniel on it, and then this is where, tell us about this one. This is where you're actually.
That's my certification.
Actual certification.
For NAMS.
For
yes.
NAMS. And then, okay, the appraisal
and then
foundation.
That is, the appraisal foundation, property appraisal.
Cool.
So it's really important to know what you're getting with a survey. And the only way to do that is just make sure that that surveyor's been vetted, either by NAMS or by SAMS.
Yeah. And now, here we are at March, first day of March, and everybody's starting to think about the boat, getting that boat out.
That's right. It's that time.
It is that time, but this weather's got everybody itching, I know. And I can guarantee you that some folks out there would don't have the boat quite ready. What do you think?
I haven't.
I'm about guilty.
How long? Because,
I'm telling you.
Because I've been so busy.
Well, we preach to people what they ought to be doing, and then sometimes look around and, well, I need to do that too.
Well, I'll tell you, I will. My thing is typically I'll get it out, have everything done to it like it's supposed to be, the maintenance and everything set up, and then I'll turn around and use it one time, and then it'll go back in the shop till next year.
I know. And my problem been, a lot of folks have asked me to go fishing with them, and I absolutely love doing that because I'm trying to fish and film, and it's sort of hard for me to run the boat, so right. I love going, folks. Well, but the drawback on that, my boat's sitting in the pole barn and not getting used, so we got to use those boats.
Yep.
We were talking earlier, we were talking about this warm weather and all coming in early, we were talking about water temperature. After the weather break, first thing Daniel asked me, heard anything about Spanish? The first thing he asked me.
Usually, yeah. I mean, I love Spanish season. That's my favorite time to fish.
And my answer was yes. Let me find these pictures here because I know the young family that went out and let me see if I can find them here. Right here. There's a Chisholm family. Kristen, Ken and Kelly Chisholm. They were at Shell Island for the weekend, and y'all see the Williams babies, this is their grandbabies. The Spanish are running. Thank you, Mimi and Papa, for the fishing trip. Their daughter, Kristen, and look at these. Look at there. That's the first Spanish. She looks like a Chisholm. I know 3 generations of this family, and they love to fish. Look at this. Good job, Ken and Kelly. And look at here. This is the first picture. Y'all see it right here on Panhandle Outdoors. Spanish mackerel in February. Daniel, how's that sound?
Sounds nice.
That's the first one. They're back there behind Shell Island. And Kristen, glad you got to go. She was in the outdoor ed, and Ken and Kelly and all those folks, they enjoy the outdoors. So there were a lot of boats back behind Shell Island already, and all you got to do is just get in there and troll for them. And that's the first picture. So we don't usually get them in February, but that's a sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was a big deal last year when they came in late February.
Yeah.
But maybe that's becoming a trend.
2 years in a row. Yeah. So I'm expecting this coming weekend, we'll talk more about it Friday on the fishing report. We'll sort of specialize in the Spanish mackerel coming up this weekend because it's going to be some exciting times. It's going to cool off a little bit Saturday, but I don't think that's going to have an effect with the water temperature like it is. That's really interesting. All right, let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. March the 1st, the first day of the March in 2023. It's hard to believe it's already March, isn't it?
It really is.
There with Daniel Cole. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 6:31 to 8:31 this morning and this evening from 6:57 to 8:57. And we're talking about different, I've got several more pictures, but let's get into a couple more certifications you were talking about, different things you were talking about earlier.
Different tiers of surveying skill. When you are looking for a surveyor, the other thing that would be important to look at is, what are their qualifications, because there's actually different levels of certification in surveying. You have yacht and small craft, which is the most common and the most used probably in our area. You also have commercial boats, and you also have there's cargo certifications, and there's sub-M certifications for commercial tugboats, what they require. And then you also have, like us, we're Hull and Machinery. The Hull and Machinery is the top tier and can certainly take in all those below it. But just be sure that what level of boat you're looking for, that you're getting a surveyor that's certified in that field or above.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, that's so important, and we appreciate you keeping up with everything and letting us know. If you have any questions on boating and all, or different boat hulls and everything, email it to me, or I'll get it to Daniel, or get in touch with him or something, because a lot of stuff is out there now.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that if anyone would like to, if they have any questions or they need any help with anything, please let Winston know. He can let me know in advance, and then the next time I'm on the show, we can be prepared to talk about what you need.
Well, people now, seriously, they are starting to look for boats.
Right. And
of course, a lot of those new ones are very expensive, so a lot of people look for good used boats.
Right.
Especially in the 8, 17 or 25 foot range. That's real popular around here.
Right.
And we've talked about it before. It doesn't hurt to remind folks. What are some things to look for and not look for? So if you're looking for a good, what are some of the things you want to look at?
Well, just look for physical damage, obviously.
Okay.
Look for repairs. A lot of boats we find have been repaired. They've been through the storms. They've been repaired. Mm-hmm. Gel coat always has a different color when it's been touched up. You can see a quality moisture meter, knowing what the moisture content is in the hull, if there is any, because some boats are really saturated and you won't know without a moisture meter. Uh-huh. You can tap it, you can hear a dull thud, but sometimes some boats are built so stout, even with all that extra weight, it won't sound as well with a hammer as it will just reading it with a moisture meter.
Okay.
And then tapping them out, tapping them out will give you a sound, and if you have delamination, you'll hear a flexion sound of cracking when you tap it.
That's interesting.
And it's something you learn over the years when you're doing it. And but looking for cracks, looking for repairs, looking for stuff like that. If it looks like it's been rode hard and put up wet, it probably has. So, just be very cautious. And the other thing is remember that marine surveyors, unless they have a separate certification as marine mechanics, we're not marine mechanics. We're hull and system surveyors. So if you're going to buy an older boat, it's very likely that it would be a good idea to go ahead and have a marine mechanic engaged so that they can do an engine survey. Because, the old standards of doing compression testing and oil samples, they'll help you. But today's motors, you can plug a computer module to it, and it'll tell you everything about that motor's history, if it's ever overheated, everything. And that's so invaluable, If you're going to get an older boat, motor out of warranty, then be sure and get a separate engine survey as well.
Yeah, and you definitely want to take it for a ride. You definitely want to get out there. You don't want to buy it unless you can get out there and run it.
Because we'll run them. We'll do the sea trial, and we'll make sure everything RPM comes up. It's not having any problems. But that computer readout will tell you everything about that boat's history. It's like its credit score. It doing a credit check. I mean, it'll tell you everything that's happened to it.
I know some of these earlier boats were built good, steady boats and all, but a lot of them, the runners and all underneath the deck, they started getting soft and mushy.
Yeah.
And you probably don't have that much as you used to. You still have that problem.
Older boats, you still can run into that. Most of your newer boats are getting away from using wood.
Okay.
But even in a boat that has no wood, if you have a lot of moisture in the hull, it will hurt you because it's going to slow the boat down. It's going to take efficiency away from the engine. You're going to burn more fuel, and it's going to be more expensive to operate.
Yeah.
And then over time, it will deteriorate. So
Yeah.
it's good to know what you got.
So this is a good time of year to get a boat.
Probably the heat's fixing to be on. Going into March, you're going to have, boat sales are really going to skyrocket. They'll start going up in value. I mean, really the late months of winter and very early months of part of the year are your best times to get in and get out with buying a boat. But you're fixing to see everybody come up, and the sales will be on, and there'll be another drive for it because they're back in season. It's a season-driven industry in our area.
Okay, and that's what I thought. Got about a minute left. Tell the folks what kind of boat you have.
I have a G3 18-foot Gator Tough tunnel hull.
Okay, you like it, don't you?
I do. It runs really shallow. That's the reason I got it. I want something really shallow because we used to do a lot of trips up Chattahoochee, and we get back in the sloughs, and we'll go up the Appalachia and Chipola and Bear Creek and Econfina Creek. But it's so shallow. It was really helpful after Hurricane Michael getting to some of the boats that have been pushed up in the sawgrass because you just couldn't get to them with a normal boat.
Yeah.
It let us run shallow enough to get to them to do the damage survey. So.
Well, that's great. I'm glad I know now you got to find time to enjoy it, right?
Yeah. Well, Spanish season, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen soon.
Okay. All right, folks, we got to wrap it up. We appreciate watching. Appreciate Daniel coming on and all he offers as our boat expert here on Panhandle Outdoors. Y'all do something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day. Enjoy outdoors. Take care of them, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.